Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om.
Hey everyone, so happy you can join us for the Love Everyone podcast
with your hosts Govind Das and Rama Chandra Das.
A conversation of love, devotion, and walking the path of Bhakti Yoga. Hey everybody, welcome to the Love Everyone podcast. My name is Govind Das.
Hey everybody, it's so great to be together. Episode 27 of the Love Everyone podcast. My name is Rama Chandra Das, and we are so excited to dive into some more Bhakti conversation.
Did you say episode 27?
I sure did.
What's so special about that?
Well, it happens to be the number of beads on my little quarter mala that I got right here hanging on Hanuman's hands. It's a quarter mala. It's 1/4 of 108.
1/4 of 108. And for people that aren't familiar, this number of 108 is considered to be so auspicious and really sacred in the whole yogic tradition. So in any natural division of that, number 108 holds that same energy as well too.
And so why is it so special, Govindas?
Why is 108 so special?
Yeah, why is 108 so special?
Man, I get asked this all the time, and I feel like I never have the good answer.
I know. Well, there's so many reasons. I never know which one to pick, you know.
And many of them are like deeply mathematical reasons. But one of my favorites is that the numerology of 108 equals 9.
Yeah.
And my whole life, I would have never thought, 9 is a sacred number. But in the Vedic tradition, 9 is a very sacred number. There's 9 planets and the 9 modes of bhakti gosh,
I know
many other reasons, and I've read them all a million times. But
what I love about 9 though too is that the multiples of 9.
Oh yeah,
they all add up to 9.
9
right?
times 3, 27, 2, 7, 9,
108.
Right.
All of
9
them.
times 4, 36. 6 and 3, 9.
9. I know, it's great. But this is one I heard recently, and I don't know if this has any legitimacy, but I like it a lot. Is that it has 1. So 1 is like unity, right? And then it has 0, right? Which is like which is everything and nothing all at the same time. And then 8, if you flip it on its side, is infinity.
Oh, I love that. That's so great.
So
That's
it has
great.
all these elements of of unity and wholeness and infinity and Brahman.
But what about this one that I've always heard? That's the distance from the earth to the sun. Let's say
to the moon. I thought it was.
Is it to the moon or to the sun?
Yeah, because the sun is a lot further than 108.
Okay, so the distance from the earth to the moon, that same distance, it's 108 times that distance of the diameter of the sun.
Yeah, there's a bunch of this crazy stuff, and I never get it right.
How the ancient ones knew that is just absolutely mind-blowing.
Yeah, the rishis knew how far the sun and the moon were away from the planet, almost like, and it's supported by science these days. There's a great book by Vanamali. Have you read her book called The Science of the Rishis?
I've flipped through it, never read it. Never read the whole thing.
I love it. Well, you know me, man, with my easy chair and my tea.
But wait, there's another one, 108. Oh gosh, is it meridians that lead to the heart? Have you heard this one? There's so many. There's so many.
And what's interesting is that they all, can be substantiated. And so like that's like it's just more evidence, Um,
I just love the number 108. I don't know what it is, but it just feels right in my heart. You know, if
yeah.
I am ever on a sports team again, I'm going to put 108 on my back, which probably won't happen, but you know, it's okay.
Oh my
Or
gosh.
11. 11's not a bad number either.
11's a great number. I mean, if you could get 11, I would go for 11. It's going
Yeah,
to fit on your
fit on the back.
jersey a lot better. A lot better. Yeah.
Well, brother, we're here today, and you know we're going to dedicate our show today to our dear brother Shiva Bam. As most of you all that are listening to this have heard about his passing, and we're just I'm heartbroken. I every day I just can't even. It just doesn't feel real. It just does not feel real that Shiva Bam, the legend that he has been on this planet, that he's no longer on this planet anymore, and and I get that we should celebrate his life, and I am celebrating his life, and yet at the same time my heart is in pieces about it because I just love this man so much, and it's just this thing called death is just so strange.
Mm.
Oh man.
Well, I'm right there with you. You know, I still haven't really. I feel like I really haven't even accepted it. It just feels so surreal to think that, Shiva's gone. And for those of you maybe that don't know, Shiva Baum was he was like an institution in
Mm,
the LA Bhakti scene, and he's the son of Mohan Baba and Radha Baum. And they were two devotees who were with Neem Karoli Baba right at the beginning. They were on that first wave, that Ram Dass of Westerners that went with Ram Dass to go and meet and have darshan of Neem Karoli Baba. And they, accepted Baba as their guru, and he gave them names. Um, and they've been devotees ever since. And Shiva grew up in that, which
yeah, he
that's
was born
astounding.
into
Can you
that.
imagine what that would have been like to be born into that? Krishna Das, or is it Krishna Das or Ram Das or both? Are they both his godparents? Or do you?
I was always under the assumption that Ram Dass was his godfather, but then on a recent post, Krishna Das said that it was his godson.
Yeah.
So,
Well, maybe he had two godfathers.
and two darn good ones.
Oh my gosh. Can you imagine? Wow. So I just, that guy was just so full of so much love. I can't even, he was to me like he was channeling that love everyone energy, in such a powerful way. I never heard him say a bad thing about anybody.
Yeah,
Did you
yeah.
ever? I mean, like he just didn't see wasn't a gossiper.
Well, he
I
did
don't know. Maybe,
say some
maybe.
bad things about people to me.
Okay.
He was
Okay.
human. He
He
was
was
human.
all right. Okay.
But the love that he carried was, I mean, it was huge. It was massive. And and he touched so many people through his teachings and his presence and his love and his kindness. And
Hmm.
yeah, it's really he was sort of like the rock and the glue of the whole LA Bhakti scene. And I think, something that he was born into it, he was born into a family of devotees. And as we heard, it was his mom told this great story. It was after she chanted 108 Hanuman Chalisas
Oh, that's right.
that he
Perfect.
was conceived.
Ah, yeah. She said she prayed to give birth to a great being and then did 108 Hanuman Chalisas, and then Shiva appeared. Isn't that something?
It's
Wow.
so crazy. It's just the craziest thing. And it's kind of reminds me of Anjani, Hanuman's mom.
Ah,
She prayed
uh-huh.
to have a great son,
Yeah.
just like Radha, and Hanuman was born.
Mm.
And Radha prayed to have this great being, and Shiva came from that. And something for me, like we were born into it. I mean, we weren't born in, we came into it much older in life. And I don't know about for you, but for me, there were many years where it was just this bhakti didn't feel like it was in me. I was trying to get it. It was like I was making an effort to just to drink it so it would be in me. But with Shiva, from the very first time I met him, it was just always in him. And it was so authentically and deeply in him. And he you get it from those who have it, and he had it.
Ah.
He had the bhakti.
Oh, he sure did. I've been had a funny moment in kirtan a couple of weeks ago because we sing a song called Shambho, and it's about the form of Shiva called Shambho. And one of the ways that I like to describe, Shambho is in contrast to the form of Shiva that dances the Tandava, that's like in the ring of fire, and he's the Lord of transformation and destruction. And and this is what happens when we do our yoga and our practices, is that we step into the fire and we're doing our tapas, and the heat of that is what is burning away the bullshit. And how a lot of times we come into yoga and we pray and we say, Shiva, or whoever we say, Hanuman, God, help me to transform. And then the fire starts and we're like, oh, hey, no, 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 no. I didn't know it was going to hurt this bad. I'll just go back to my couch. But but then Shambho is this auspicious, this loving, this compassionate form of Shiva. And I said, so when you're feeling that fire of transformation, it's like you can take Shambho, and like Shambho is like this cooling balm, like this that you can like rub on yourself. It's like a Shiva balm.
Mm.
And then I suddenly I,
Shiva.
I caught myself, and right as I said that, I was like, it's like a Shiva balm, not a balm, but a balm, but close enough, right? So a Shiva balm. And so then ever since then, I've been kind of thinking of him as Shambho,
Mm.
that energy, that compassionate, loving form of Shiva that just wants to give you a big hug and say, hey, just keep with your practice. Because he said that to me all the time. He would say that to me all the time. He would say, you're on the right path. Just keep going. Just stick with it. Just keep doing your chalisas. Keep doing what you're doing, because I'd have conversations with him, and he was, and I would express some doubt about something or something. He'd say, no, just keep doing what you're doing. And I feel like that's kind of Shambho says, no, 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 stay on your mat, stay on your seat, keep doing your japa, keep doing your practice. You'll get through the fire. And when you
Mm.
get through the fire on the other side, you're going to be better for it.
Mm.
And so I just like suddenly, like Shiva Baum, our dear friend who was in his body just until a couple of weeks ago, now is Shambho.
Mm. Mm.
He's this energy of compassion and love and auspicious sweetness.
Mm.
Anyway.
Yeah, this was really interesting as well too. I We had this little sort of joke, silly joke about cactuses. I don't even need to say what the joke was. And 3 days after his passing, I was in a mountain bike accident and I landed in a cactus.
You and Shiva had a joke about cactuses?
I never told you this.
No. No.
Oh my gosh, me, Shiva, and we used to go hiking, and we had this kind of silly joke about cactuses and our friend Brian Gallo. And even sometimes he would send me an emoji of a cactus. And then 3 days later, when I was in Grand Junction, I've told you, but I took a terrible mountain biking accident and I landed in a cactus. And I still have the cactuses in me. And some of them, 99% of pulled out. I still have three or four. There were hundreds of them. But there was something very intertwined with Shiva about this. And especially that some of these cactuses, they may never come out of my body. Yeah. So I don't know what this is trying to say, but
He's always with you.
yeah. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. No, I didn't. I mean, I knew you fell on the cactus, but I didn't
Yeah.
know the Shiva cactus connection. That's
Very,
amazing.
very strange. I
Wow.
mean, strange, not strange, whatever you want to
Yeah.
say. I mean,
Strange, not
like,
strange.
it just is like, I don't know really what to make of that. But maybe it was sort of like between when he was sort of between worlds and he was saying, like, don't forget me or something like that. I mean,
Or
what
he
are
was
the
just
chances that I would injure myself
on a
and land in a
cactus.
cactus?
I mean, yeah, what maybe, or maybe it's a practical joke,
Yeah.
a Leela, Shiva just being like, I don't know, pulling the strings and pulling your chain.
I think it's just that thing with when people leave, that I'm feeling that I hadn't talked to him in a couple months. And gosh, like I would have loved to have said goodbye. Like
Isn't that something?
it's
Just
just like, but now he's everywhere and he's in our hearts. And I guess that's death. You have to reconcile that and make peace with that. And yeah, it's just,
well, we love you so much, Shiva. It's just words cannot express how seeing how many people loved him too. My God.
yeah, I mean, like Bhakti Fest I think is where his fame really
Yeah.
spread. How many years was it? 12 years of Bhakti Fest, and he was the MC every year, and every single person heard his voice, and he had the gift of gab more
He
than
sure did.
anybody that I've ever met in my life, especially publicly.
It's so good. Yeah, I
Yeah,
put him in front of, give him a microphone and give him a crowd of 1,000 people, and he was in his element, man.
yeah,
Yeah, 100%. I just can't imagine a Bhakti Fest without him.
yeah.
Oh man.
Well, if you're going to be in LA, or even if you hadn't planned on it, come make a trip. We're going to have a beautiful life celebration and memorial forum on June 14th in the Venice, Marina Del Rey area. There's this new, really big studio called Primal Moves. I haven't been yet, but it's supposed to be amazing. And it's huge. You can fit like 500 or more people in there. And I think there's going to be a lot of people that want to come. And
Mm.
we're going to do kirtan, and musicians are going to come sing songs, and a lot of heart sharing and just being together in his legacy and remembrance. And we'd love to invite everyone and anyone to come join us.
Mm. Well, I hope to make it down. June 14th.
June 14th.
June 14th. Yeah, cool. And how can people find out more details about that?
Yeah,
Your
I mean,
website?
I think it will be on the Bhakti Yoga Shala website if it's not. And yeah, and there's not much to do but just show up.
Cool.
That's it.
Jai Shiva Baum.
Ram Ram Sita Ram Shiva Bam Sita Ram.
Mhm. Mm.
Have you really connected with him since he's been gone? Like, you know how some people say, like, oh, I really felt his presence, or
I really felt his presence most at the evening that he passed
yeah,
at Kirtan, and um, actually he passed during Kirtan.
yeah, us too.
Yeah. And you had sent me the text just right before we went in to set up, and it was, and it nearly knocked me over because he's in the ICU and they don't think he'll make it through the night, which was such a shock because it happened so fast,
Mm.
and then during Kirtan, um, we did a Shiva chant, and I could barely get through it because I just was feeling him so much, and just just sending so much love towards him. But it felt very reciprocal. It felt like so on some level, I guess I wasn't 100. I wasn't super surprised when I got got your message later after Kirtan was over that he had passed during Kirtan. It was, honestly, like you said, 7:18 p.m. and I was chanting to Shiva at 7:30. So I mean, he was just leaving.
Yeah,
How about you?
yeah. Well, I was chanting a Maha mantra, which is really interesting because when Radha was telling the story, he came out blue when he was born. I don't know if you remember her
Yeah,
saying that.
I do remember that. Yeah.
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 Um, but it was a big shock how quickly it happened, and
No, I meant, have you had that
you
moment
know,
of connection?
I have been thinking about him, but not like over the first few days. Felt him like in the ether, like drifting away. And
Mhm.
the image in my mind, his soul was drifting. It was like a magnet being, like Maharaji was like a magnet being, like pulling him towards him
Mhm.
from this realm to that realm. That was like the image that I had in my mind.
Hmm.
Um, but since then, I've had a lot of thoughts,
Yeah.
but not that like full darshan that sometimes you get from someone.
Yeah. I've heard a lot of people talk. One moment, maybe there was a 2 day. I think it was the day after, or even the evening. It was the day after he passed, but it was kind of like it felt like day one, because we got up and we had our Hanuman Chalisa sadhana, and that was the beginning of what was like a week-long memorial for Shiva. So how great that we could be together every morning for the sadhana, and that Radha and Mohan were there sharing with us. What a blessing. And Narayan and so many of his close friends were able to be there, and yourself. And so it was that first night, the first full day after he passed, and it was I was down watching the sunset, and I had been thinking a lot about him that day, but there was a moment, just had it was a very glimpse, just a brief little moment of just feeling him in the sunset and just
Mm,
feeling him in the his presence, just kind of in this grand, but that was it. Just
yeah.
a little peek at eternity. But
Yeah, I think I've had a few of those as well too. Just a quick moment. Um, well, I think the one thing, if he would anything, if he had a wish, I imagine it would be for us just to keep doing what we're doing. As he always called us the professors. on our morning sadhana. And so we're here in his name and in his remembrance, and we're just going to keep moving forward and you know praising Hanuman Ji Maharaj Ji, Sri Sita and Ram, and um, yeah.
Well, that was really what was most important to him. So we will, Shiva, we will keep going. We will
Mm.
keep walking the path, and just continue to feel your blessings. Ah,
Right. So why don't we
dive
dive
into it.
in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, brother. So we'll do our opening prayers and then maybe look at a new line of the Hanuman Chalisa.
Let's do it. Here we go. We'll start with our opening Guru invocation. Om Akanda Mandalakaram Vyaptam Yena Characharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha.
Salutations to the Guru who revealed to me the supreme truth, which is unfragmented, infinite, timeless divinity, and which pervades the entire universe.
Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha.
Salutations to the Guru who opened my eyes, which had been blinded by the darkness of ignorance, by applying the divine ointment of self knowledge.
Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha.
Guru is the creator, sustainer, and the destroyer. Guru is directly the supreme spirit, both manifest reality and the absolute. My reverential salutations to the glorious Guru who resides in the hearts of all beings as the true self.
Bolo Shri Satgurudev Ki.
Jai.
Shri Baba Neem Karoli Santa Maharaj Satgurudev Bhagwan Ki.
Jai. Shri 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 Shiva Bham Ki.
Jai. All right, so we are going to enter into the river of love that is the Hanuman Chalisa. And we're on line 24. And the translation is Ghosts and goblins cannot come near, great hero, when your name is uttered. Say it again. Ghosts and goblins cannot come near, great hero, when your name is uttered. Bhuta pisacha nikata nahinave. Mahavira Jabanama Sunave. One more time. Bhuta Pisacha Nikata Nahinave. Mahavira Jabanama Sunave. Ghosts and goblins cannot come near, great hero, when your name is uttered. All right, Father, any thoughts, reflections about this line?
Oh man, I feel like we could talk about this line for 108 hours, to be honest. There's so much here. Uh wow. So a couple of things, the first thing is that Tulsi Das is revealing to us the power of repeating the name, the power of japa. Japa is the repetition of the name, and in this case, he's saying great hero Mahavir. It's a wonderful name for Hanumanji, Mahavir, or in this case Mahabira, but Mahavir is often how it's spoken, like in like colloquial current Hindi, and it's you know, God, there's just so much to say about japa and this practice of repeating the name. I want to. Can I read something here?
Yeah,
So
please.
today is Ananda Mayi Ma's birthday. So we're recording this on April 30th. We won't hear it for a couple more days. It'll come out on Tuesday, but it's April 30th, and that's Ananda Mayi Ma's birthday. And she's a great saint. If you're looking on YouTube, you can see her right there behind Hanuman. And she takes a very you know important role in my heart, right there next to Neem Karoli Baba. And I've just been reading this book that I don't know, it's called The Essential Sri Anandamayi Ma. Have you seen
Mhm.
this book, G?
No, I
Oh
don't
my
think
God,
so.
it's so great. It's got 1,000 pictures in it.
Mm,
So many wonderful pictures, and it kind of spends the first half of the book giving a little bit of a biography about her, and then the second half is a lot of her teachings. And she said this about japa, so I thought this might be an interesting thought, and I'd never really thought of it this way. So there's a couple new concepts that came up for me. It says after doing japa, one should dedicate it to the object of one's worship. If this is not done and it is stored only by one's self, then there is fear of it being lost, since one is not aware of the great value of what is in one's keeping. Just as when a priceless jewel is left in a small child's custody, he may throw the treasure away, not understanding how precious it is. Nevertheless, even by keeping the japa stored by oneself, one will gain something, but the full benefit of its accumulation will not be reaped. The whole and entire fruit of the japa, obtained by dedicating it to the supreme object of one's devotion, cannot be had if it is kept by oneself. For this reason, japa should be offered to one's Ishta Devata or Guru. By regularly offering one's japa to the Ishta Devata, one slowly and gradually comes to realize what the name is, and he whose name one repeats, who one is, and what self realization signifies. When all of this is revealed, then the purpose of one's japa has been wholly fulfilled. Nobody can ever foretell at what particular instant this might occur. Therefore, ever continue with
mm,
your sadhana.
mm,
I mean, she's saying that pretty much self-realization, like the whole goal of all of yoga can be had merely by repeating the name of your Ishta Devata.
mm.
And Tulsidas is telling us here, actually, and even in the next line, he kind of reiterates it and gives us another example. What he's telling us here is that we can overcome the ghosts and the goblins. We can protect ourselves from the ghosts and the goblins. And so, the next thing that I thought would be, interesting to talk about is like, what are the ghosts and the goblins? So a couple questions for you,
Mm.
Govindas. Any thoughts about what I read from Anandamayi Ma? And two,
Wow.
what are the ghosts and the goblins?
Well, it doesn't surprise me that she says that. And I've heard a quote that I repeat of hers all the time. She says, "Take it from me.
Hmm.
Nothing is impossible when you chant the divine name."
Hmm.
So, yeah, I mean, she, like all of the Bhakti saints, I think every single Bhakti saint that I've read their teachings, they say the same thing, that japa, the name, is what polishes the mirror. And as that mirror becomes more and more polished, we are able to know who we really are, self-realization. And as we've heard, in this age, it's the most effective of all the techniques.
Hmm.
Different in different ages, different yugas, but in this age of Kali Yuga, this, the name, the repetition of the name is the thing that's going to really work. And you know, it's really interesting. Like most people come to kirtan and they chant kirtan and they love kirtan and they come because it's the music and the community and the drums and the dancing and the beautiful feeling of voices coming together. But you know, the saints, the teachings is that the central aspect of kirtan is the name.
Mhm.
That's what it's all about. And until somebody hears that, they have no idea about this thing called the name. And you know, and I love how when we're able to do workshops and these types of things, we can explore that more deeply and introduce people to the practice of chanting the name. Um, but it's all in the name. Everything that we need, all of the wisdom of that deity lies within its name. And the more you chant it, the more you can sort of unlock it.
It's so hard for the mind wants to just argue this so adamantly, because it's like, how can that be this one name, this one sound, this one syllable even, you know how could this possibly do what you're saying? But then you have to look at Ananda Ma. I mean, she's like living in samadhi, this bliss-filled samadhi of joy and peace, and right. And she's saying, take it from me. And then you look at Neem Karoli Baba, and he has all these cities and all these powers, and and he's saying Ram Nam Karane se sab buddha ho jata hai. By repeating the name of Ram, all things are possible. And so many saints. So how could they be wrong? That's the way I feel about it. Is how could they be wrong?
I think they're not
Well,
wrong.
they're not wrong. I don't think so.
They are so right. And what's so amazing is it's like almost like this the human, I don't know if the word conundrum, like we want to make things so
I
complicated
know.
and so cerebral and we have to do this and that. But it's so simple. Just chant the name.
I know. My
Just
God.
chant the name.
Isn't that something?
It's so great.
But I mean, like, it's like, here is the prescription. It's free, right? Anybody can do it. You know,
There's
you
no rites or rituals. You can even do it on the toilet.
you can do, you can
There's
do it
no
anywhere.
time that it needs to be done.
It could be
Or
5 minutes. It could be 6 hours. It could be 30 seconds. I mean, I even when I see your truck drive by, Ram Ram. Every time I'm like, it's an opportunity. Oh, right. I'm not repeating the name. Why don't I at least get a couple in right now? And but yet, so many of us, I mean, even myself, like, knowing what I know about the name, I still am amazed at that I'm not chanting it all 24/7, you know? So, and then if you don't even know about it, but yeah, but people would much rather, spend all their money on all kinds of drugs or all kinds of therapy or all kinds of, biohacking or whatever.
or just other methods of spirituality that but look, bhakti isn't for everybody, right? Intellectual people need more gyan, and maybe physical people, they want more, and we've talked about this at length. It's the integration of all of these.
Right.
But for the bhakta, The name is the treasure. The name is the jewel. The name is everything. And we just need to keep placing it in our hearts.
I love what Anandamayi Ma said, and this was one of the things that I hadn't really thought about was that she says, like at the end, because you said the jewel reminded me,
Yeah.
at the end of your japa session or whatever, is that you need to make it an offer, like give it to Hanuman or give it to Neem Karoli Baba, like because they can take care of it, they can protect it properly. But like she said,
Yes.
like a little kid, if you give him a jewel, he's not going to know, and he's going to leave it in the backyard, and he'll lose the jewel. And we're like those little kids; we don't even know. We even if we talk about it intellectually, she's saying we don't even know the the true value of it. And so we have to give it to Hanuman. You protect this.
I had just when you were saying that, I just had this moment like, holy crap, we're fucking so blessed. We have the name. We have the name in our life.
Uh,
Oh my gosh.
yeah.
What a blessing this is.
Uh, I love what you were saying about kirtan and the name too, is because you know underneath all that trapping of music and dancing and drums and all that stuff, really is this the name. And that's all just as Krishna Das like to say, like the mantra is the medicine, the name is the medicine, but the music's just the sweet syrup that helps it to go down. But I remember once when I was learning Mridanga in Vrindavan, and my teacher, he said, well, it's great to do all these finger exercises and all this kind of stuff, but here's some really simple kirtan beats, because he said you have to be able to sing whatever instrument you're playing. You have to be able to sing the mantra too. If you have a choice of playing the mridanga or singing the mantra, you should sing the mantra, because that's what's important. And that the mridanga playing or the harmonium playing or any of it, it's all there to just support the mantra. So like that's what I say to people when they want to learn kartals and stuff. And I'm like, great, but as you're practicing, keep chanting, keep chanting, keep chanting, because then you'll just get lost in the music maybe, but you're not actually speaking the name, and then so you're not going to get the full benefits of it.
It's so incredible how it's taught in bhakti that the name is the deity.
Mm.
The name is Hanuman. The name is the incarnation of Hanuman in this world that we can most easily and directly connect to at any moment.
Mm.
Any moment we put that name on our lips. And it's right here for us. And in this three-dimensional world, this is how the simplest and most direct way to connect with any
Mm.
God, deity.
And it's not just like bhakti, like Indian bhakti, right? Like, because what does it say at the beginning of the Bible? In
Dude, I
in the
went to
beginning,
church with my buddy a
there
few
was the
months
name.
ago, and it was all about the name of Jesus. The name of Jesus. And I was like, this is bhakti, man.
Oh,
This
that's pure bhakti.
right?
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. So I mean that it just all rolls back, into the subak for me.
So you said the
Oh,
second part of
yes.
this question was, I think we talked about the name, but about ghosts and goblins.
Yeah. What are the ghosts and
What are the
goblins?
ghosts and goblins? I think they're dark energies. That's what I would consider ghosts and goblins. And whether that's inward or outward. See, back in the day, 500 years, even more than that, people like really believed in these, you know,
Ghosts and goblins.
ghosts and goblins. I mean, even like I was just listening to our friends, over there at the Wisdom of the Sages podcast yesterday, and Raghunath and Kaustubha Das, they were breaking down of a line of the, the Bhagavatam, and it was something to the extent like there was the long story led to uh, taking a Ganga bath at night, and that you should never take a Ganga bath at night. Because if you take a Ganga bath at night, there's a certain darker spirit that can enter into you.
Wow. Have you heard that before? I never heard that.
No,
Wow.
it's fascinating. It was just maybe yesterday's session. So if you want to hear the story about it, it was really wild. But I'd never heard this before. But in this tradition, like in our modern day world, oh, ghosts and goblins, this is not anything that we feel even as real. But in this Vedic culture, this was considered, there's so many beings that we can't see, beyond this sort of material reality that are alive and at play.
Mhm.
And some of these are bhuttas and pisachas, these darker sort of energies. And Hanuman is the shield. So the name of Hanuman is a shield to keep them not from entering into us.
Mm. Yeah, I love it. I think there's so many layers of the ghosts and goblins. You mentioned the inner and the outer. Um, and but I think that this might be a poetic way of, as you said, just kind of revealing the dark energy, and that Hanuman is protecting us from it. One thing I think is interesting is that actually Tulsi Das, it was a pisacha, a ghost, a thirsty ghost, that was the one that told Tulsidas how to have darshan of Hanumanji.
That's right.
And so not only did they believe in them, but like according to Tulsidas, like he actually had an interaction with one who spoke to him, sort of thing. So that's one little interesting thing. But I think the way I kind of like to think about the ghosts and the goblins are like the present, the demons in the present, and the ghosts are like the demons in our memory, the demons of the past, or that dark energy, not necessarily demons, but that dark energy from the past, because like just even like on a from a yogic point of view, memory can be a huge obstacle, and certainly when we hold on to like negative memories, especially, but all memory can be an obstacle, if it's keeping us from being present. But just I know for myself, like if I fall victim to regret, it can just tear you down. Regret over a decision that you made from in the past that you just zero control over, and the dwelling in that past. And I think, I was thinking about, the name is also, as a mantra, and how mantras, one of the ways to define mantra is a tool for the mind, and it's this repetition of the mantras that helps us to overcome, basically just the negative thinking, and whether that's memory or whether that's in the negatively thinking about the present or the future. I know for myself, that's probably one of my, biggest goblins, and is just dealing with my own mind. And so simply on that, as a mantra, as a tool for the mind, I think about when you really focus and concentrate on a mantra and you repeat it, especially if you repeat it out loud, it sort of pushes that stuff out.
Mm.
It pushes those thoughts out. There's kind of not room for, like when people like to say either you can't, fear and faith don't ride the same pony, or,
Mm.
if you have faith, then you don't have fear. If you have fear, then you don't have faith. In that same way, that if you're really engaged in japa, however that's coming through, um, there's no space for the ghosts and goblins to be in it's taking that place in the consciousness, and so I mean, I use
I,
this line all the time.
I'm really interested though. Like when in the course of history and even why in the industrializing of societies that all of a sudden these bhuttas and pisachas and ghosts and otherworldly beings didn't make it through.
Mm-hmm.
Like now that's seen, oh, that's just a very primitive way of thinking. if you
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
you basically get extricated from your social circles if you start talking about goblins.
Or if you talk about ghosts a little too emphatically. Yeah.
Right, but this was something so real back maybe 100, 200 years ago, and maybe even still is today in villages in India
Yeah.
and quote unquote third world countries, and how we in our now, modern world, like there's just no place for that.
Ad- advanced,
Right.
advanced modern world. I think.
There's no place for that.
Well,
And
do you
there's
have any thoughts about that, or you
I
want me?
don't.
No. So
I
I was
don't.
thinking first, the thing that popped into my head is the rise of science.
Yeah.
Okay, because like science has this like bug up its butt about like everything has to be able to be proven in the material realm, and if it can't be proven in the material realm, then it's false. I think that's kind of, I mean, I'm not a scientist, so excuse me if I, oversimplified that. But that's kind of the feeling that I get
Yeah.
if you can't prove it, then it doesn't exist, you know? But then what's so weird is, at the same time, there's, and then I think there was been a big rise of, alongside with that science, a big rise in like secularness, right? Of like, no, like that religions are like mumbo jumbo. It's too, you can't prove it, you know. And so, uh, and so ghosts and goblins, these are these things that, are hiding in the night, and, you can't see them and you can't prove them. And the minute you catch a ghost, it goes through your fingertips, just like on, I don't know, an old Scooby Doo episode or something.
I was thinking Casper.
Yeah, but you grab the ghost and it disperses and it's.
Casper the Friendly Ghost.
I can see Casper standing there like you're doing your job, Hanuman, Hanuman, Hanuman. The Casper's like, me too. I'm friendly. Can I? Can I hang out?
Oh, I just connected, like maybe Casper's like Vibhishana.
A friendly demon, the Dharmic demon. Oh my God.
I just gotta hit like ghosts and goblins are the things that we're afraid of.
Oh
Like
yeah.
I just got, maybe it's as simple as the ghosts and goblins are things that we're just afraid of, and naturally as humans we all have things that we're afraid of in life.
Because they're the unknown too, I think.
The unknown, yes, and that Hanuman's name will just protect you against that fear.
Yeah. Well, what did we just hear a couple lines ago? You know, those you protect know no fear. You know. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of astounding just to come back to the power of the name. You just really can't. It's one of those things too. Like we can talk all day long about it, right? But it's an experiential thing, um, and and I find it interesting the way Anandamayi Ma was talking and Neem Karoli Baba used to talk about it. He'd be just like, he'd be like, you just repeat the name, and one day, and she kind of mentioned it, and he mentions it too. Just like one day you'll actually nail it.
Mm,
You're gonna get it right. And
mm,
that's gonna be the moment that, Anandamayi Ma is kind of hinting about like that, even like that there's like a period where you need japa. And then once you have that moment, you kind of don't even need japa anymore, you know? She even talks about like because she calls herself this body,
mm.
um, she's always like referring to herself as this body. And she said, at one point she's writing and she's talking and she says something like, well, back when this body was engaged in its sadhana period,
Mm,
you know, um, meaning that what she's saying is that there came a moment when she, dipped fully into the self-realization, and then suddenly like all that fell away.
mm.
And that one day we'll actually say Ram or say Hanuman, and we'll really mean it, or we'll really just it'll just really come from that deep deep well of the heart. And I don't know.
Yeah, I've heard this frequently. Like you have to develop a taste for the name.
Mhm.
And once you develop that taste, it's the sweetest thing there
Mhm.
is. But like, like those who know, only those who know really know. Like until you've developed that taste, we're talking about this and people are, what are you talking about?
Talking
The
about
name. Well, it's because they haven't developed the taste for the name yet.
uh,
But then once you develop the taste for it, it's like even Maharaji, he just kept it on his lips.
yeah.
And maybe you don't need it anymore for sadhana, like Ananda Ma is possibly referring to, but it tastes so sweet
Yeah.
that you just want to keep it on your lips, because what else do you want to put on your lips when you have that realization? Like that's the greatest thing that we can put
Yeah, I
on our
I don't know.
tongue.
Have you ever had this experience? It just happened to me this morning, which is why I'm thinking about it. Where like, I was coming, I knew I was going to record with you, so I sat down to do some japa, and I was like, okay, so I just got 10 minutes. I'm just going to do 10 minutes of japa, and then I got to the end of the 10 minutes, and I just didn't want to stop
Yeah.
because it was like, I just felt like I just got started.
It's just delicious.
And it's so delicious.
You
Yeah.
can like what I feel is like all of our mental stuff, all of our worries, all of our doubts, all of our our desires. You put it in the name, like you just give all that stuff, and the name just completely then absorbs all of that stuff. So you don't have to think about it anymore. And then you can just be present and vibrate with the name, and just so present,
I love that.
completely absorbed in the name.
That's beautiful. I had this image. I've had this image for a long time because I don't do it so much anymore. Just because, we go through phases, but I used to do a lot of Lakita japa, so writing Ram. And I had these little books with little grids on them, little boxes like graph paper, and the Ram, 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 just thousands, hundreds of thousands of little Rams in there. And and then I had this image once when I was meditating about how like our consciousness is like full of like these millions of little boxes, right? And in each little box is like a memory or a grudge or a fear or a doubt or a worry or it's also a dream or an inspiration or whatever, good, bad, it doesn't really matter. But that and but then I had this vision that every time I filled one of those little boxes in the sheet with the name Ram, was that I was replacing one of the boxes in my consciousness.
I like that.
I was throwing out whatever ghost or goblin was in that little box, and I was filling it with Ram,
Yeah.
And that one day, if I kept doing japa, that one day I would fill all those millions of boxes.
Oh man.
And then that would be the day that I would just be one with Ram, that I would just be absorbed, as you were describing, like just absorbed by the name. Anyway, so I sometimes think that when I'm doing my job, I'm just like, just doing my little manual, like my little manual labor, in my brain,
Replacing.
replacing Ram, filling all the little boxes.
I'm just remembering this. I had a very powerful experience with this line. And it's just coming to me right now that an old student of mine years ago, he committed suicide. And I was very close with him and his family, and we had a dear relationship, and his name was Krishna. His name was Ricky, but then he started going by Krishna. And then he after he committed suicide, I felt his spirit hanging around me like a week or two or three. And it just was freaky, man. It was really, really scary. But I felt his presence, and it was like trying to latch on to me. And maybe it was because we were just really good friends. I mean, he was crazy motherfucker, but we were just, I always really loved him. And I felt like after he left and why he committed suicide is some things happened in his life, but he no longer felt safe in the world, because he got arrested and all of these, he had done some terrible things. But I feel like he kind of came and was trying to latch on to me because he felt safe with me. And I was freaked out, man. And I knew his spirit was like right here with me. It's like a ghost. It was a ghost.
Mm-hmm.
And I really went deep into this line. And I started chanting and I started praying and did like a long all night ritual once and over like a week or two. And it was just like chanting Mahabir, 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 like as loud as I could and screaming it and trying to use like the force of the name of Mahavir to like send him back to the light. And it worked. And it was a very real experience with this.
And then you just felt his presence
And
not
I
there
felt
anymore.
his presence after a few days of just very intensely doing sadhana in relation to this. And I felt his spirit just at a certain point just drift back into the cosmos. So
Well,
I don't think Tulsi Das is just saying any of this stuff, man.
no.
Yeah.
And I don't think Neem Karoli Baba and Ananda Mayima are just making this stuff up either.
Yeah.
So listen, I think I told you we could talk about this for 108 hours because I
did.
got about 78 more stories I want to tell about.
Well, guess what? Next line we can talk about it more.
Oh, we get to talk about it
name.
again. Okay, next podcast.
Stay tuned, everybody. Stay tuned.
More on the power of the name, but maybe we should jump onto our LSD hit of the day.
Hit? An LSD hit?
Let's take some.
What do you mean, man? What do you mean take an LSD hit, man?
We're not talking about drugs. Come on, G. Come on. We're talking about love, service, and devotion. The OG LSD.
The OG LSD. I love the OG LSD.
Hey, man, it's the best. It's the best. And you can't take too much either. That's what's so good about it.
I hear there's no hangover the next day.
Not only is there no hangover, but you actually feel better than you did the day before. The
Does it
more,
expand your mind, man?
heck yeah, it does. It does expand your mind. That's for sure.
Really? Then I'll
And but
take
more
some, man.
important, but more important, okay, cheat. I got Cheech and Chong over here. But more,
Do you see things, man?
well, with your third eye.
Darshan.
uh yes, all of that, but not more important than it expands your mind, it expands your heart. And that's what.
Oh, give me some of that, man. I'll
Okay. All
take
right. So
that.
the way this works, everybody, if you're just tuning in, is
How
first
many
we have
hits can I take,
for
man?
as many as you want, man, as many as you want. The first thing we do is we giggle about this LSD joke for about 2 minutes. And then what we do is the hit of the day is actually a quote, a bhakti quote, a devotional quote or saying from it's usually from a guru or saint or one of our great teachers. And in this case, though, we're gonna honor Shiva Baum, and he, of course, was a wonderful teacher and still is continuing to teach so much about bhakti and love and devotion. And so we feel really blessed to be able to have this wisdom that he shared with us, and we're going to share it with you. And then we'll talk about it for a second. So this is what Shiva Baum said. He said, "With Ram's name on my lips and with Hanuman in my heart, I am able to face the music of my life." One more time. With Ram's name on my lips and with Hanuman in my heart, I am able to face the music of my life.
Mm.
Oh, it's so beautiful. It's like a koan. It's like a poem.
Mm. Wow.
Tell us a little bit about.
I love that.
Are you feeling it? Is it coming on yet? Or
Dude, it's such a good hit. Oh my gosh. It's such a good hit, man.
see, we're still giggling about it, everybody. 27 episodes in.
Well, dude, right again. It's back to the name.
The name.
The
The
name.
perfect line for today. A
With
perfect,
Ram's name
perfect
on
LSD.
my lips and Hanuman in my heart, I can face the music of my life. Gosh, you know, Shiva had a very challenging life. He had a lot of struggles. And I think that's where he laid his faith through his struggles, was in one, in Ram's name, and two, in keeping Hanuman in his heart. And I think this is something authentic. This quote authentically came out of him through his own sadhana, through his own practice. And I think this is a great, great tool for us to face the music of our lives. And I love this face the music. I mean, again, he was such a wordsmith, but calling our challenges the music of our lives puts our challenges in a whole different perspective. And you think about music, there's so many different kinds of music, and there's really sad music. There's heavy metal. There's
Punk rock.
It's like, and we know with Shiva, music was one of, if not the most important thing in his life, along with Maharaji. And he loved music, and his career was music. His life was music.
Yeah, his life was music. So it's perfectly fitting that he would use that.
Perfectly fitting.
That word, yeah.
Right? And
it gives a lila and a play aspect to it as well, which I like.
Yeah, that life is music. Your life is music.
Mm.
in and again, it offers us as bhaktas and those of us that have Hanuman as our Ishta Devata and and Sita and Ram as our, guiding light of our life. Like the two, like the two together merging as one. Like Hanuman is never separate from Sita and Ram and Sita are never separate from Hanuman. And it just is so beautiful. Like Ram, 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 Hanuman, Hanuman, Hanuman in our hearts. And then we're gonna find the strength that just whatever's arising, however scary, however dark, however challenging, however painful, however frustrating, however we think we want to give up. But when we practice, put Ram on your lips and Hanuman in your heart, and you can find the strength within yourself to face whatever it is. Jai, 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 Shiva Bam, Jai Hanuman. How about you, bro? Any thoughts?
This is one of those ones where I was even thinking that it's kind of hard to even describe this one or to talk about it, because that's like so mental. What I love about this is it's not mental at all. In fact, he doesn't even say like with Ram's name on your lip and oneness in your mind and Hanuman in your heart. He doesn't. The mind isn't even part of this. Do you know? Like it's beyond the mind, and it's just so heart centered.
Mm.
And the only thing that's on your lips is just this name. So and as I was talking about, like so it's a mantra, right? So the mind isn't even involved, because all the mind is just immersed in Ram, right? Because when we really are taking our japa, and with concentration, and is that it becomes, it like fills those little boxes in the mind. It kind of pushes the thoughts out. And so between those two things, between the power of the name and then the courage of Hanuman, coming together, as you were just describing, that sort of merging of Ram and Hanuman. But again, to specifically listen to what Tulsidas and Baba Maharaji and Anandamayi Ma and all these great saints, so many saints have told us over the years about the power of the name. But then you combine, because with Hanuman in your heart, though both, it's like you can do anything. Like either of these things by themselves, right? Just the japa or just keeping Hanuman in your heart, you can do anything. Well, now it's like this exponential. It's like Hanuman Ram squared or something. I feel like when you're like multiplying the power of the name and the remembrance of Hanuman together at the same time. I mean, you're like, at that point, you're like, you're spiritually invincible. You're spiritually invincible at that point in time. And that's what you need to face the music of your life, right? I mean, sure. I mean, if somebody walks up and kills your body, then there's nothing you can do about that necessarily. But that's not the invincibility that comes from this spiritual that's what I'm getting. I'm getting this hit of this thing called spiritual invincibility. And I think that you see that in people who have really, really strong faith.
Yeah.
Like the way Radha, who is Shiva's mother, was she came to our Chalisa sadhana even the next morning, 12 hours after Shiva passed away. She logged on to Zoom and sat there with us and shared about Shiva and shared her love and shared her faith in such a way that I was like, wow, this woman is spiritually invincible.
If I've ever seen anyone spiritually invincible in my life, it was that morning. It was one of the most powerful mornings in my life when this woman who had just lost
Her only son.
her only son, shows up with perfect faith. And that perfect faith is something we are all going for. And she
Yeah,
just gave us darshan. This is what it looks like.
I couldn't believe it.
Just like
I'm blubbering.
Maharaji.
Tears are streaming down my face and I'm blubbering. I could barely speak. And she just comes in and lays it down. The wisdom and the strength and the clarity and the grief. Obviously, you could still feel the grief, but that's the body. That's, you know what I mean? Like that's the grief is the attachment to the
That's the
material.
human
That's the
stuff.
humanness. That's not the spiritual invincibility. But that her faith was so strong that she could pull herself out of that material world long enough to give us darshan in that way. And then she came every single day until the end of that session, that round, and shared with us every day. It was, I'm
It was
still,
one of the most truly inspirational but spiritually enlightening experiences of my life, really. The
yeah,
way she showed up and to
it was really,
see the embodiment of that in real time from a
you know,
human being.
and it reminded me a lot, but only like 108 fold. It reminded me a lot of when your house burned down.
Mm.
And then you showed up next day. And you showed up the next day and you showed up the next day. And I remember people commenting, and I was thinking the same thing. It was like, wow, this is really impressive, that Govind Das, is still turning to the practice, even in the midst of this. Everything that you had in materially was completely gone, besides a few items in your family, and yet you were there. But that was just your stuff.
Oh, it's just my stuff.
You know what I mean? So like you can't even, it was like a microcosm of what Radha showed us.
And I think what this comes back to is the power of satsang. Because when I look back at it, I needed to be there.
And you had
And
enough
and
awareness to do that though, because
and she needed to be there. There was no other place I believe that she could have possibly been that could have given her the strength. Just then in satsang.
100%. And because we kept expressing to her how amazed we were, and she was like, basically saying, where else would I be?
Yeah.
Where else would I want to be? But so many of us, when we don't have, faith, something like that happens and we just crumble. We just give in, and I'm speaking from experience. We just give in to the grief and the sadness, and we can't, and we start to question our faith. And that was beyond anything that I expected at all. And she seems stronger than ever now. I've had a couple of conversations with her on the telephone, and I'm just blown away at her resilience.
Yeah. It's beautiful. It's the music of our life, That's the music of our life because all of us are going to experience it on some level, but the child passing away before the parent, that
Ah,
is like
ah,
the most painful
the
thing.
worst. Can't even imagine.
But she faced the music of her life.
Yeah. But she loves Maharaji so much.
Yeah.
she just knows that, her life is about serving Maharaji, and I feel like too, like she, so many people, were calling her and talking to her, over those, those days, the week after, especially. And from the conversations that I had with people about it, like she was the counselor. Like
Yeah.
she was the one offering the strength, and they were calling her to like to do the opposite, with like, oh, we gotta, we gotta support Radha Ma. And I feel like it was her doing the supporting.
Mm.
I mean, really impressive. So she's
What do they say? Death is the greatest teacher. Birth and death are the two greatest teachers.
and birth is inevitable for those who have died, and death is inevitable for those who have been born. So the wheel of samsara. We'll get to that in a few podcasts. We'll get to dive into that. But
All
wow.
right, bro. Well, I think it's
Wrap
time
it
to
up. Yeah.
wrap it up.
Oh man. Well, thanks everybody for being here today. Let's just wrap up with some closing prayers. Oh, I feel Shiva Baum in my heart right now. With Ram's name on my lips and Hanuman in my heart, I can face the music of my lives. Thank you so much, Brother Shiva. Wherever you are, I know you're wrapped in Maharaji's blanket. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu.
May all beings, including ourselves, be happy, be well, and be free from suffering. May all of our thoughts, may all of our words, and may all of our actions in some way contribute to that happiness, that well-being, and that freedom from suffering for all, including ourselves, including ourselves, including ourselves.
Love everyone, serve everyone, feed everyone, and remember God.
Rama Chandra ki.
Jai.
Pavana Sutta Hanuman ki.
Jai.
Anjani Putra Hanuman ki.
Jai.
Bajranga Bali Hanuman ki.
Jai.
Sankata Mochana Hanuman ki.
Jai.
Jai Jai Siaram, Jai Jai Hanuman, Jai Jai Lakshmana ki.
Jai.
Baba Neem Karoli Santa Maharaj ki.
Jai.
Shiva Bam ki.
Jai.
Jai.
Oh, thank you so much, brother, for sharing this time with me. And thank you, everybody, for listening. If you like what we're doing, push that subscribe button, share it on your social media. Let us know that you are enjoying this LSD. And we look forward to seeing you on the next one.
Love everyone. Love you all. Everyone, love everyone. And thank you so much for being with us. See you real soon. Jai Hanuman, Jai Sitaram.